Can you see Dyke? Okay.
My name's Peter. I'm 70 years old.
I'm Gary. I'm 80.
Josie Brown.
John.
Leslie Leecam.
I'm Carol.
I'm Cynthia. I'm 66, and I'm a semi-retired United Church of Canada minister.
Yeah, my outing experience was more with my parents being outed. I was, as a teenager, let's say, doing a little sneaking around and doing things a little furtively because I knew that it wasn't right. You know, the way I am, it wasn't somehow right and acceptable. So I was sneaking around and finding liaisons here and there. So I was outed. My parents sat me down. They were, Mom was crying, and it was a tough time.
Coming out for me was really interesting. I came out in 1976. I was a student at York University, and when I realized that I was a lesbian, or I liked girls, because I had a 3-year clandestine relationship with a woman while I was in university, and she was taken away from me when our relationship was discovered. And I decided I still like girls, even though I didn't have her in my life anymore. So I went to the Homophile Association at York. That's the word that was used back then, homophile, not homosexual. And they put me in touch with LOOT, the Lesbian Organization of Toronto. That was 1976, and I came out with a bang, and I have not gone back into the closet since.
Well, I came out a little later in life. I wasn't really out until my 40s. It was, not that it was society's fault necessarily. I just, in myself, wasn't ready to share that with people. You know, you're always afraid that people may walk away from you and be upset with you. And I think I got to a point in my life where I was like, well, they've just got to get over it and accept this. And you know what? Everyone did. Everyone was fine. And I know that's not the norm. And I know people have different experiences where their family walks away and friends walk away. But I did not have that.
I came out to my family. It was between age 17 and 19. I can't remember exactly. I got the silent treatment for about 2 years. It's not because my family didn't love me. It's because they did not understand. And the first thing they wanted to do is take me to the doctor.
There was no formal coming out. I fell in love with an acquaintance, and she with me, and we were so blinded by the love that it wasn't until much later that we realized that we were two women who had fallen in love with each other. I'd never been with a woman before, nor had she. So this was our experience, and that experience occurred a quarter of a century ago, and we're still here.
Well, it was kept secret. Our family was a family that kept secrets. We had other secrets to hide. And so that was another one. And I think on some level it was an embarrassment to my parents, and my mom took it badly. So I noted that my picture disappeared. They said, everything's fine, everything's good, but pictures of me disappeared into drawers.
Well, it was interesting, the reaction. I was living with my mother and my 3 brothers at the time. And I'm the only girl child, and as you can tell, I'm brown, and coming from my culture, my lovely accent is from Trinidad. And coming from Trinidad, when you're the only girl child, there are lots of expectations. You don't leave home until you get married. You're supposed to bring grandchildren into the family. So when I told my mother that I was a lesbian, she would not have understood the word dyke. She was just disgusted. She said I was bringing shame and dishonor and disgrace to her name. My brothers were fine, and my father, who was living in Trinidad at the time, had no problem.
I have two siblings, two brothers. I told one because he too is gay. And my other brother and his family, I never really told until after we got married. And my parents never knew.
My family is okay with it, with the exception of my in-laws. Perhaps the most vocal was one of the very religious people in the group who whispered on the telephone why my stepfather was not talking to me because I was a homosexual. So that has just been left as is.
It was very painful. My daughter took my grandchildren from me, wouldn't permit me to see them. She was shocked, absolutely shocked by my behavior. And that's a quote, by my behavior. She was shocked and she withheld the grandchildren from us for a period of time. Eventually, things turned around. She became an ally, and she now advocates for same-sex rights, has been doing so for many years. And as far as Michelle is concerned, she has two moms.
I think that the major challenge that the 2SLGBTQ seniors face is isolation. Some of them, who had partners, some of them have lost them. Other people feel that they are aging and they have more trouble getting to places, going around. Some people have mobility issues, so they spend a lot of time in their homes and have more trouble getting to some places and to get to know other people from the community. I think that also there's still a lot of internalized homophobia and people that are not out. And some people that were out a long, long time ago, now going to long-term care, are facing that they have to go back into the closet.
It'd be nice if there truly was, for seniors who need extra care, whether that be just more support services geared for them with understanding staff, such as home care people. And if we're talking about dwellings, seniors home, I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever specifically have a old age or retirement community that can be basically LGBTQ. That would be pretty awesome, but that would be, I don't know. I think that's a long shot.
And I think government support needs to be more obvious for LGBTQ senior support and care. It doesn't seem to be on the forefront of government issues.
Well, I suspect that we can do a lot more in the senior community by sharing and listening to each other. There is a place for educating others, but I think really it's that whole business of, you can really only change yourself. You can't change others.
I think the support has to come from within the group itself, because the silence even within the group is ridiculous. Why should you sit there and suffer alone whenever there's other people in the same situation? And most are willing to talk to you or help you in some way. I think a lot of it is probably guilt and fear that they won't speak up. And of course, I occasionally have a big mouth and it does get me into trouble, but I think sometimes it helps.
People don't acknowledge our existence. They don't believe that we are here and we are queer. And as a result, basic health care is not something that we are getting. We are going back into the closet, we are hiding, we are afraid, we are isolated, and we are lonely. And what is even worse, we are dying invisibly. When COVID hit, almost 4,000 seniors died in long-term care homes in Ontario. How many of those were queer seniors?